Hi guys, Mr. Hill here with your second history lesson for this week. So we've been talking about artifacts and what was found by archaeologists in various Anglo-Saxon areas. We're going to look a bit more at a brooch today. So we're going to design our own brooch in an Anglo-Saxon style. So as I said, found out how the archaeologists found Anglo-Saxon artifacts, things including shields, jewelry, money, weapons, so this sword, for example, and importantly, for today's lesson, brooches. So brooches like this would have been worn by both men and women. Any ideas what they might have been used for? What do you think? How about I show you? They were used to keep a cloak in place. So this here is on his shoulder. So the cloak was a simple piece of fabric they would wrap around themselves to help keep them warm and keep them dry. And the brooch was there to hold it in place. So rather than having to try and tie a complicated knot and then try and untie it at the end of the day, because I'm sure you know if you've got your own tie and you tie it and you've played with it all day long, the knot gets smaller and smaller and smaller. The same with shoelaces as well. So this was a really practical solution. So if you needed to take your cloak off quickly, say for a battle, because you don't want a great big piece of fabric flapping around behind you getting in the way, you can quickly unhook it, it can go on the floor, and then you've got your arms and everything ready to jump straight into battle. And then once you're done, you can pick your cloak up, wrap it round, clip it back on nice and easy, and you can carry on with your day. So the jewelry you wore signified your status within the group. It was often very ornate and filled with precious metals and stones. So something like this would have been owned by a chief, someone really important. Again, so the ones we're going to show you are all really ornate, really highly decorated and highly patterned. The reason they were used as a status symbol is the more detail you have, the more expensive it would have become because it's harder to do. If you think you've got to set stones in this one would have had 4 stones around the outside. 3 of them are missing in the mists of time, but there's one of them in the bottom there that's still in place. If you look at the colors, you've got golds, reds and blues, all really difficult to do, certainly on a small scale like the size of a brooch. This one again, really intricate, really highly detailed with a big red stone in the middle of it. Similar, again, more patterns, more ornate details and a big red stone in the middle. This one is becoming more ornate again. So we've got lots of stones. This one's almost got mosaic set in it with the stones. So they're all individual tiny pieces of stone. This would have taken a craftsman hours, days, if not months to create. So there's the cost involved with that time. So this is why they're used as a status symbol. The more expensive it is, the longer it's going to take, the better it's going to look. So if you've just got a really simple plain brooch, which is just a plain round piece with the pin on the back to hold everything together, you would be a lower sort of person within the group. Something like the one that's on screen here, you're really high up in the group, you're very well thought of. And then you've got something that's slightly more modern by the look of it, but again, it gives you some ideas of some of the patterns that have been used as well. So although it's not a rule, many of the brooches had a 4-part repeating pattern. So what you would have in one quarter repeats in all the others. So if we take this, for example, I'm going to color that one in orange. It'll be the same on all the other quarters. Now that's a little bit boring and it's not going to show your status. So you need to think that you're an Anglo-Saxon chief of a village. How is yours going to look? How ornate do you want to make it? So your task, you're going to design your own Anglo-Saxon brooch. You could do some research. I know Google Images has got lots of really good ideas. You could follow a design that's existing. So find some of the original designs that I've shown you already. So go back in the video if you liked one of those, have that on the screen, copy that down, or you could create your own. First thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a circle on a piece of paper. So you might want to use something like a mug if you've got a big mug to use, or a small plate. That'll give you your circle. Using something straight, draw a really faint cross. So don't press hard with the pencil. We want this really light, really gentle so that you can easily rub it out afterwards. Use that as your guide. So that's going to split your circle into the 4 quarters you're going to need. Come up with a design for your first section. We've gone here with something quite interesting, something very traditional, something very Anglo-Saxon. What you need to remember as well, this needs to be something you can repeat easily. So don't make it so complicated that it becomes a really difficult piece to repeat. So come up with that design for your first section. Now you're going to repeat the design in the next section. So you might want to turn your page. Do it over again. And you've guessed it, one more time, finish it off. So to go back through the steps, we're going to draw a circle. So you're going to need something round. I would suggest a plate or a mug, depending on how big your paper is. The faint cross down the middle, so that it splits our brooch into 4 pieces. Come up with a design for your first section. What I would really strongly suggest that you do is, we're really lightly with a pencil first, is mark out roughly what you want your design to be before you go in with a pen and make it into a solid design. By using a pencil, you can rub bits out you're not happy with. You can go back over it. You can make it better, or you can improve it, or you can have it how you want it. Once you've done that, then go over it in pen. And then you're going to repeat your pattern all the way round till you've got your finished design. Once you're at this point, have a think about the colors you might like to use. Add those in. And there you have your finished design ready for our next lesson, where we're going to actually have a go at making them out of salt dough. So our next lesson, you're going to need some extra materials. You'll need 2 cups of flour and a cup of salt. That's all you will need. You might need some water as well to mix them together. We'll take you through how we're going to do the next bit. So have fun designing your brooches. I look forward to seeing them on tapestry. And for your next history, you will need 2 cups of flour and a cup of salt. So you might need to ask your adult really nicely if you can have some. As I said, I look forward to seeing your work on tapestry. Stay safe, and I'll see you for our next session very soon.